everyone, it's Jen Thoden, and today on the show we have a special guest, Lacey Haegen. Super excited to have her here today because she's going to be talking about natural skincare. She is the owner and founder of Beaute Nouveau. It is an online store that offers botanical beauty self-care products. Absolutely beautiful products. I have a bunch that I have been playing with and experimenting with because I'm brand new to her products, and they're just so beautiful. And when she says all natural, she absolutely means it. You can see every single ingredient, and there's absolutely no chemicals, toxins, artificial anything in it. And it's just amazing that you can have this beautiful product with all natural ingredients. So she's going to talk more about that. Really, really excited. Lacey has a really incredible story to share with us. She is a true believer and advocate in the power of botanical ingredients to heal, and she's going to elaborate on that. But first, Lacey, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here.
So, Lacey, before we dive into some of all the information that you're going to share with us today, I learned so much just having our initial conversation with each other about skincare and overall health. And I just found it so fascinating. So I can't wait to share this information with our audience. But first, I think that everyone would like to know a little bit more about you and your story and how this beautiful store was created and your products. So can you share with us?
Yeah, I would love to. So I had the privilege of growing up in Northern California where it seemed like everywhere I was surrounded with people who were very into growing their own food and shopping at farmers markets and natural ingredients. And so that was sort of the culture that I grew up in. And I was always very attracted to lotions and potions and beauty products and things that smelled beautifully. So I was very interested in the cosmetic industry. And at 16, I had my first job at a little boutique that had all these lotions and potions and things like that. So that's really where I got started. And then as I continued to go to college and grad school, I worked in the industry, and I sort of worked my way all the way up as far as I could go still in the store levels. So I worked for 5 or 6 luxury brands for different luxury retailers. And then as I became a manager, I really had the opportunity to work with all different kinds of cosmetic lines, do all the trainings, learn about all their ingredients, all their products, all their marketing tactics. And, I'm the first to admit I loved all of it. I drank all the Kool-Aid, and I just really excelled within their model. But when I got to a certain point, which was probably, I think it was like my early 30s, I was just married, and my husband was just miserable dealing with psoriasis. So as a manager of a very high-end store, I had access to any cream, any potion that I wanted. The account executives were just handing me $1,000 jars of cream, like, oh, this is great for sensitive skin. This will help with this, this, and this. So I would take it home and I'd make him slather it all over himself. And, nothing really worked. And at the same time, we were working with a lot of doctors to help him with psoriasis and then the other things that were sort of uncovered in this process. And we were really hyper-focused on ingredients. And it was only a matter of time before I became really hyper-focused on cosmetic ingredients. It only took a few Google searches to really realize that these very long, unpronounceable names of ingredients weren't really anything but chemicals. And I just thought, well, if I can't eat this kind of stuff in food, why am I putting it on my body and his body? And I've been absorbing this for years, as a makeup artist and a skincare specialist. It was my job to have people sit in my chair and touch them and apply products to them and put it on my hand and then put it on them. So I realized actually at this point that I was quite sick too. I had really bad thyroid issues. I had adrenal problems. I had eruptive cystic acne. I was struggling with a lot of things as well. So out of just sheer frustration, I got into the kitchen. I ordered some of the star botanical ingredients that all these companies had raved about for so many years, and I started mixing them up in my kitchen. and I would make a big batch of something and I would give it away in Ziploc bags because I just didn't know what to do with all of this that I was making. And people called me and wanted to get more. Then they wanted to purchase some for Christmas and for gifts for people. And then they wanted to know, well, what more do you make and what else can we get? And then it morphed into, well, you know what I really want, and can you make this? So it was a very organic unfolding of how all this came to be. But really the main underlying motivator was trying to help Josh create something that he could lightly exfoliate with that would stay on his skin to protect it and then not have any chemicals. And that's where this all began. And it's just been a one step in front of the other journey the whole time.
So how is Josh?
Josh is doing really, really well. He still uses all the products. It doesn't matter how flowery they smell. He is a lifetime Beaute Nouveau user himself. And he actually, his health is quite different.
So that's really interesting. So let's talk a little bit about that because last time we talked, you had said something kind of profound to me. Maybe other people already know this and I'm just getting on board now, but you're mentioning that your health was suffering and he, and now using all this non-toxic, creams and lotions and potions, like you call it, your health is improving. How is that possible?
That's a great question. And part of the answer I like to say is just magic, but because I don't have a scientific explanation, but we are so bombarded constantly with toxins. We breathe them in, we absorb them in our skin, we absorb them in our waters, they're in our food. And we rarely get a chance to really flush them out and purge them. We're not a slow moving society that takes the time to sweat it out and massage it out and avoid it in general. So I think, I've always led a pretty healthy lifestyle in terms of food choices and exercise, but I think it's just an accumulation, and it's literally called bioaccumulation of toxins in skin cells, in skin tissues, in, blood fluids, lymphatic fluids. It just builds up. And if you're consistently exposed to it for long enough, you become toxic and your body reacts, with headaches, digestive issues, skin issues. It's just trying to get rid of it. It's trying to tell you, hey, something's wrong. So, I was so sensitive. I couldn't leave the house without a bottle of Excedrin migraine. And it was just the long-term process of getting away from these chemicals in every category: cleaning products, skincare, shampoo, everything, food, that your body sort of becomes desensitized and it can start to function a little bit more properly. And you eventually don't have so many of those symptoms.
So interesting. We just don't always think about, people think about food and they think about what goes in their body. And obviously that's from the outside is a reflection of what you're, how you're treating yourself. But I don't think a lot of people necessarily think of all the things that we touch and put onto our bodies that's actually going inward as well, and being absorbed and can be causing some of these symptoms that not even a medical professional would necessarily point to. Oh, well, have you checked your toxins? Have you looked at, for all these headaches? It's because it's not obvious.
No. When I first started talking about non-toxic beauty and chemicals in skincare and in makeup, people thought I was crazy. They did the thing where they'd be talking to you and then all of a sudden they were like looking to the side to see if there was somebody behind me to go talk to because I was the crazy woman on a soapbox.
Right.
And now it's a much more common conversation, but I feel like we've kind of gotten to the point where now it's even more confusing because everyone's talking about it and we have these buzzwords like clean and non-toxic and green, and you don't really know what that means either. So it is an important conversation that needs a little bit more of a definition and a little bit more less generalization. And we do need to take responsibility. Every time I see the commercial where they spray the Febreze in the air and then they deeply breathe, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. These things we're not even really thinking about, but you're choosing to inhale these deeply toxic chemicals for this like smell component. So it's also like a little bit of like shifting our expectations of like what things should smell like and what they should feel like and how long they should last. And you know, it is a giant upside down shift.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about the Febreze.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, my daughter Febreze everything. She's also a lotions and potions girl, and she saw your site, and she's like, you know, when I got all of the goodies that you sent me, she was like, you know, her eyes got really, really big, and I was like opening everything up, going, okay, and I had your, so for everyone who's watching, she has a guide that shows you like for your age and skin type, like what is recommended. And so I'm like, okay, so you do this twice a week and then this one, but they're all they're really gentle, and they don't smell like, yeah, they're flowery, but they're not like as if you lit a candle. It's just the botanicals that are in them just have a nice scent, and it kind of, you know, it's not like it's overpowering or strong or anything like that. But yeah, so my daughter has her eye on a few things, just so you know. We'll be making a second order soon.
Well, I feel like a lot of people who are attracted to our brand, they are more sensitive. They don't want something really overpowering and really strong, you know. And I'm the kind of person, I can smell something, and if it's too synthetic or if it's really chemically, I get an immediate pain right here in my eye. So, you know, I know to avoid all things that cause pain in my eye, and they will never touch any part of my line.
You need to put that on the site.
Right here, right there.
Right,
super weird.
Right here. Well, you know, and so sensitive to smell, but I think also sensitive skin, right? I mean, you started this whole process because of your husband's sensitive skin. And I can tell you, for me personally, like I suffer from cystic acne, especially during the hormonal times of the month, and it's brutal. And so I hate putting stuff on my face.
Yeah.
I don't like touching my face, you know. And of course, irony, right? When the pandemic hit, everyone's like, don't touch your face. I'm like, no problem. I don't touch my face anyway, because I'm always afraid to get like dirt and oil on my skin.
Yeah.
I hate wearing makeup because most things I put on my skin cause me to break out, and especially lotions, even though it says, you know, what does it say? Acne free, or, you know, breakout free, whatever, I'll still have a problem. And so, so I just wanted to say, because I think this is relevant. So I received your products, and we're going to talk just for everyone's listening, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about a couple things that she sent me that I think that you guys want to know about. But she sent me, she sent me a lot of things, but the two things that I've been trying is the Creme Nouveau, right? Which is your bestseller. So we'll talk about that. And it's a oil. What's it called?
Oil Nouveau.
What is it?
Oil Nouveau.
Oh, the Oil Nouveau. Okay. So just so you know, like, I don't like putting anything on my skin at all. And so she sends me this stuff, and I ordered it. It's like, right. But I have this stuff, and it looks like a cream, like a dense cream. And then you put it on your hands and it turns into oil. And I was like, oh no.
Panic.
Rising she got me into. So I'm like, okay, she swears by this stuff, right? So I went ahead, and so I've been doing it, and I'm so surprised, because number one, I have not broken out because of it. Like, normally if I were to put it like on my forehead or whatever, I would start to get like little bumps, not cysts, but like, you know, I'm like, oh, forget it.
Congestion.
And so it's been really, really great. So right when I received your product, I had a really bad breakout. I'm still healing from it, because it takes forever for me to heal, and I have to wear makeup, and I'm always really self-conscious. But what's been really cool about your stuff is that even though it's like against my nature to like, this doesn't make any sense, I'm putting oil on my skin, I still did it. And what it did is it didn't necessarily heal things as fast as I would want, transparent, like, but what it did is it reduced the inflammation really, really fast. And that was like within a day. I was like, holy crap. So anyways, like, there is just some magic in the botanicals.
That's why I like to use the word magic.
And yeah, it's magical. You should just call it Beaute.
Magic cream. I appreciate you saying that. And, you know, people do all have a very different experience with it. And as a culture, we are extremely oil phobic. Because we have a giant cosmetic industry that is reliant on us believing that oil is bad.
Yeah.
Because you cannot have patent pending ingredients and patent pending products that sell based on that sort of marketing campaign from ingredients that are naturally found occurring in nature. So they have to create products that are created in a laboratory that are not of biological origin to create that differentiator in that industry as it is right now. So we are soap phobic and we are oil phobic because it just works in their marketing machine. And it works in where they get ingredients. They get ingredients that are very, very inexpensive, that are byproducts of other industries. They have very long shelf lives. They do not change texture in heat transportation. That's huge. They last for many years on the shelf or in a drawer. They also hold fragrances and other agents really, really well. And unfortunately, they make the skin so sick. They clog the pores, they bioaccumulate, they have endocrine disruption, side effects, hormone disruptions. So when you're saying like the inflammation went down really quickly, that's huge. And then the healing takes a little bit longer. It's because the skin is so traumatized.
Yeah.
It's so used to reacting so quickly. We have to reteach it to not react so quickly. So the longer that you use these, the less time it'll take to heal anything and the less you'll actually need to heal because that inflammation will constantly be reduced. But as a society, we're so scared of oil. We want oil-free. Oil-free means plastic. That's what it means. It means silicone and dimethicone and acrylates, which is what they make acrylic nails out of, or computer screens. That's the base of most cosmetics, skincare, and makeups. And then that consistent application. Think of like a rubber band ball. Like when you used to make those in school. That's what it is. It's like every time you put it on, you have another rubber band ball stuck in your pore or stuck in your skin cell. And then we're like, why isn't my skin working like it should? It's like, stop attacking me with this stuff. I don't know what it is. So that's really the issue. And I love that you shared with the, like you put it on, you're like, wait, I'm supposed to put this on my face? But our skin naturally produces oil. So if it was truly oil that made us break out, we would all just be one big zit. But it's not, it's not oil. And if you give skin oil, it's like, oh, I can relax. I don't need to work so hard to produce my own. And oh, look at that lovely little nutrient you just gave me to work with. So it is a mindset shift, but it does make a big difference.
Yeah. So I've been using it for the creme Nouveau. I've been using that morning and evening, like you recommended.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit that since I didn't know what I was doing, I was a little bit too oiled up the first night.
Absolutely.
Like it was a little out of control. Like it was in my hair. It was everywhere. I'm like, all right, I gotta, because a little bit goes a long way. And so I was like, oh, this isn't very much. And so I started to do it, and it was just so much. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this in the daytime. Like, my hair was sticking to my face, and it was just all out of hand. And so anyway, I've now managed and figured out how to do it. And what's really, really nice, and what I've noticed, especially from about here up, because that's where I don't have any, obvious skin problems. But like now, after, it feels like it took about a week for me to really start to appreciate the quality of my skin. It's like, it just looks healthier, and my makeup goes on so much easier. Like instead of, sometimes like you put stuff on and it kind of like, almost like it soaks up your makeup, and then it's like, oh, well then why did I even bother putting anything on? And like everything seems to be so much smoother now. And it's makeup that's on top of this oil that's on my skin. It's so counterintuitive for me. And yet I will tell anybody, try it again, because I was not a believer. And I'm still getting used to it, because it's right. It's
totally different. And you're so right. I mean, we're so used to like opening a jar. It's more of like a lotion. We dip our finger in it, glob out some, and we slap it on, because we don't take time for ourselves, first of all, but it's this quick application. Whereas creme Nouveau, you have to put, literally, when I say a pearl size, people are like, yeah, right. Even. That's, I always use this much, but it's a pearl size, and you put it on your hands, you rub your hands together, just emulsify it, let it melt, and then you just press your hands to your face, and just lightly put it on. And honestly, that's all you have to do. And then if it's too much, you take a dry cotton pad and just wipe a little bit of it away. And what's on your cotton pad is all of the dead skin that needs to come off.
Ew.
It's amazing. Every day I'm just like, yes, without any scrubbing or anything. It's truly life-changing.
Yeah. So I'm a total believer. So we're going to actually talk about more about that. But you said something really interesting a minute ago, and I want to dive a little bit deeper. You had said people don't take time for self-care. And I had asked you before we were going to do this interview today to kind of talk to us about some myths, like common myths about what skincare is, because a lot of times when you talk to people about skincare and lotions and stuff, they think about anti-aging creams, right, or moisturizers, or their eyes roll back into their head because I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
I just got to get up and go and do my thing. And so, when you say self-care, what do you mean? Like, because you said no one has time for self-care, which when you said to me the first time, and this was the last time we talked, it didn't bother me, like angry, but I started to really think about how little time I give myself to do something nice for myself. So you have you've outlined kind of some of these routines in some of your program about it. So like, how much time does it really take to really start to get more healthy in your skin?
Well, it's really different for everybody. And I personally think that the term self-care is almost as ambiguous as the word clean or green or non-toxic. Like, what does it mean? Does it mean like, oh, I finally got my laundry done? I finally had a chance to wash my hair because I just remembered I hadn't done it in 5 days. I mean, I emptied the dishwasher finally. Like, what is self-care? Like, that could be considered self-care. Is it our experience that we see from television and magazines of like sitting in a bubble bath? I mean, what is it? Do you even like to sit in a bubble bath, or are you just doing it because somebody said, what you should do? So it really is like a personal thing. I mean, some people, for them, self-care is like finally reading a really good book and being alone for a minute. So for me, I think that self-care can be very broad, but realistically, it's about your general grooming needs. And I think, myself at least, that 10 minutes in the shower and the little bit of time afterwards should be enough to prep yourself in such a way that when you step out and you are ready to go on with your day, you feel good. Like, you don't feel haggard, you don't feel rushed, but you didn't necessarily have to add 30 minutes, but you could just feel like you gave yourself a little bit of attention. You were consciously focused on yourself, not your to-do list, not your kids, not what you didn't get done yesterday, but just, oh my gosh, I'm right now putting on my butter balm in the shower. I'm smelling it. It makes me feel good. I'm right here, right now. That to me is what self-care is. And just, it's a very private thing, and it's just a preparation of yourself. And, we learn about self-care from either our role models who are either really good at it or aren't good at it, or we learn about it from a cosmetic counter where somebody's also selling us something, or we learn about it when we are sick of that experience and we run into the drugstore and just pick something out. It's a complicated and constantly changing practice. And we also have a culture of sort of self-care shaming. When you're too good at it, we have this idea of, oh, you spend that much time on yourself? Oh, what, your
nice.
children must not be, you must be feeding them macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you must not be doing this. Like, if you're doing this to take care of yourself, you must not be doing this other important social responsibility. So it's a heavy topic, and it's really important because really, what are we here to do? We're here to do wonderful things. We're here to fulfill our purpose, help other people, forward our society along. And if you aren't prepared to do that because you've neglected yourself, you really eliminate the power of what you're capable of. So for me, it's a 10 to 15 minute shower where I step out of the shower and I'm like, oh, I am feeling so good. And then on some days, it's like, oh, I finally did 5 loads of laundry. So that's my personal take on self-care. And, we're so used to saying like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And it's true, we don't. So you got to hack it into your life. Instead of trying to uproot your life and change it in a different way to make things fit,
Right.
like, or instead to
Right.
add things, just you have to figure out how to make them fit. And that's what I've tried to do with designing everything in the line. Like, how is this going to make it fit? Because nobody wants 15 products that they're not going to use, and then they're going to feel bad that they spent all their money and never used them.
Right.
So it's about being really intentional in your choices and in your product selections and how you fit it into your world.
You said butter bomb in the
Oh,
shower. What is that?
butter bomb. Butter bomb is sort of like our cult favorite. It's this is a magical little jar as well. It's almost like the creme nouveau for the face, but you put it on your whole body while you're in the shower. Water's still on. You've already washed your body. You scrape out a little bit of this delicious balm and you massage it on while the water's still running. It melts onto your skin like butter on a hot pancake. There's different scents. Some of them are just strictly essential oils, and some of them are a little bit more fragrance, depending on your scent palette. You get to stay in the shower for one more glorious minute, treat your whole entire body, and then when you're done, you turn off the water. All you have to do is lightly just tap yourself dry, no rubbing. You completely dry. You put your pants on, your shirt on, you're out the door. You never have to put body cream on again because nobody does that. There's a few unicorns that do put body cream on every day, but they're unicorns. And this is a way to completely treat yourself and give your whole body attention in 1 minute every day. And it is a game changer.
I tried it in the shower. I really liked using it around my knees and down on my heels because
Yes.
it's the one thing that I always think to myself after I get out or after I've shaved that I need to go put lotion on because like sad little pale rough legs and stuff, but I never really do. I just kind of like move and move on. And it was actually, and I remember you telling me, and I tried it, and it was really nice to come out and just, I didn't have to do anything. I just, threw my clothes on and went about the day. And it seems like such a silly, simple thing, but I don't think it is silly. I feel like you said, like sometimes it just felt so good to just kind of do something. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a own little secret because, because like I do a lot of kickboxing, so I do a lot of exercise barefoot. My feet, my heels get really, really dry. And it was really nice to have this treatment on those areas that are just really, really dry. And it was like, it was better than the lotion that I have.
Yeah.
Could you try again?
You hear Siri wants to know what I have to say.
What do you want to use, Siri? Well, it's the same. Like my shins are the same way. If I don't put something on my shins, they look like alligator skin and they itch. But I'm sorry. I just never, like, I get out of the shower and I'm out the door. Like, I am done. I mean, it's like out. And to be able to put the butter balm on, even if it's just on my forearms and my shins, like if I don't do my whole body, just those particular areas makes a huge difference because, when your skin is rough and it is not treated, it's vulnerable to attack because your skin is literally the biggest part of your immune system. So when it is cracked or vulnerable or dry, there's space for things to get in, and it actually helps to strengthen your immune system when you're strengthening your skin. So I'm glad you like it. And a very common question is like, does it make your shower super slippery? And just to let you know, it doesn't, because it really sticks to you, not your shower. It's not like a liquid oil where it goes all over the place.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Sorry,
I never.
Delivery.
That's okay. We were just. This is what happens.
Real life
on video. Yeah. So, and I, with the cold weather at the time of this recording, we're going to be going into fall and fall, winter. Like dry skin is just rampant and it drives me absolutely crazy, at least on my side of the world. I don't know, California, maybe not so much, but for us, it gets really cold and the dry skin. So I'm actually really anxious and eager to use this product, especially through that time when everything gets really, really dried and miserable and itchy. Like, so
it'll help so much.
Okay. So you have a lot of products for the face. And I think there's a myth that this is all about beauty, and you have made a comment that skincare is not about beauty, which I find really interesting because I would have automatically drawn that conclusion.
Well, and that's very normal. I mean, we are very conditioned to understand beauty and the beauty industry being synonymous with skincare because you go to a beauty brand to buy your skincare. And if your skin is beautiful, then you're beautiful. And if your makeup is on your smooth skin, you're more beautiful. So it's the association we've grown up with, we all understand collectively. But your skin is an organ. It was never supposed to be a certain look. It was never supposed to be a palette for makeup. It was just supposed to keep your blood and your lymphatic fluid moving, protect your organs, keep everything in one nice little pouch. We have these unrealistic expectations of it, that it's supposed to look a certain way. And then we don't really treat it very nicely. We don't like it. We pick it apart. We constantly talk negatively about it. My biggest aha moment in creating this brand, because it was in the beginning, it was like just making products. That's where it started. But eventually it became a brand, and it became known for certain thought processes and being more for empowerment and things like that. And what I really realized one time was that I was doing somebody's makeup, and it was like the 100,000th person I'd done makeup on, and I realized when she sat down and immediately started like, oh, look at my crow's feet. Oh, look at under my eyes. And it was this, let me point out everything that I don't like about myself that makes me ugly. And I realized that is the conversation I've always had with every woman who's ever sat down. Nobody has ever sat down and been like, you know what I really love about myself? You know what makes me beautiful? That is not a conversation we allow ourselves to have. And so this idea of beauty associated with skin, it's just not real. Like, beauty is what lights up your eyeballs when you have accomplished something that makes you really proud and excited. And, you just change the world in a little bit of a positive way. So to me, I am really looking forward to that separating at a certain point when we expand our horizons to stop thinking about it that way. I mean, beauty and skin, like putting those two together is almost as old fashioned to me as going swimming with pantaloons on, it's like such an old fashioned idea. And if you picked up 10 mainstream magazines today, and you cut out every single cosmetic ad, I guarantee you that 80 to 85%, if not more, of them would be a picture of a model like this. I mean, it's her face, a little snapshot, and a little picture of the product that they're selling. And that's why we put those things together, but it's not real. Yeah. Skincare is about taking care of your skin as an organ so that you as a human are more functional.
I love it. And after we talked the first time and I got all my goodies from you, and I thought about this. So when I go through I want to say routine, it takes a minute tops, but the routine to add on the creme nouveau, I started to talk to myself. So, because I was like, okay, it's because because I love you. It's because this is beautiful skin. Because you have to kind of massage with the products. You can't just slather it on. You have to actually work with it. And I think just the very act of doing that, so you have to be gentle, and you start to sort of have a different perspective on taking care of yourself. And if there's any win here, it's more of a mind shift of just how you treat yourself in the mirror for those couple minutes when you're applying whatever product you choose to put on your skin. Mm-hmm. Beaute, Nouveau or not, I think it's just something that I never thought of before. I think about all kinds of things for health. I'm a big believer in eating clean, but I've never thought of the skin. So for me, if people are like, Jen, talk about the products, it's brand new to me, and I'm really excited about it. So let's talk about your bestseller.
Well, our bestseller is definitely the Creme Nouveau. This is our jewel for sure. It is the face cream that literally everybody who uses Beaute Nouveau uses. We do have a couple of, there you go. We do have a couple of other options for just different needs, but the majority of our clientele, that is their thing. And the reason that it's so popular is because of that same thing we were just talking about, fitting it in and making time for it. As a makeup artist and cosmetic salesperson, I cannot tell you how many times I have heard, I just want one thing that does it all. I don't want a serum and a night cream and a day cream and an eye cream and a neck cream. I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to use it. I've done that before and it's just in my drawer. And it didn't work anyway. So I thought, you know what? Instead of trying to sell 5 different products to a person, let's just put it all in one jar. Let's just make it one jar fits all. And it truly, truly does, because I put as many ingredients into that little jar as I possibly could have put in. I mean, so many. And it's all about, you know, think about what your body needs as a functioning body. It needs carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, vitamins, water, amino acids, love, acceptance, rest. You know, that's what we need as a body. That is exactly what your skin needs, because your skin is part of your body. It feeds off the same nutrients. So that is what is in Creme Nouveau. It is your face cream for day and night. It's your eye cream. It's your lip cream. It's your everything. When in doubt, Creme Nouveau.
Okay, so you didn't actually tell me to do this, but I did it anyway. And I don't know, yesterday morning, I'm looking in the mirror and my lips looked so good. Like, and I'm looking at myself going, that's weird. Like,
You don't ever have to put chapstick on again.
My lips are, I swear, and this is not, I swear I'm not making this up for people who are watching. My lips are always chapped and I eat my lips. Like, I don't know how many people are out there that do the same thing, but I do it all the time. And it's a terrible habit, but I'll eat, it's disgusting, right? But I'll pull off the skin and it's always dry or whatever. And I was looking and I never even thought about it. I'm like, God, my lips look really good. And I'm like, oh, I gotta tell Lacey. I gotta tell.
So good.
But I think it's the stuff. I think it's like, seriously, it's amazing.
Well, and that's so great to know. I mean, all of us use like lip balms or chapsticks or things like that. We have constantly. I don't ever have to use one of those.
No.
Because most mainstreamed are petroleum based, and petroleum means plastic, and plastic suffocates your lips. And so it's that never ending cycle of like, okay, I'm putting something on that makes them feel less chapped, but really I'm just swallowing it, and then they're chapped again, and then they're chapped again and again. And it's like a vicious cycle that's really hard to get out of. But once you start using really, truly botanical ingredients, you don't usually have those types of problems anymore.
So what would you tell, what would you tell my audience who is 50 plus? And, you know, we start to get into our slightly older age where, you know, we're definitely seeing the lines. We're seeing spots. Like I have spots, you know, and actually, if I hit the sun, I actually get a mask too. That's from my dad. Thanks, Dad. But, you know, our hormones are changing, or we're a little out of whack, right? We're going into our next chapter. And I know for me, myself, like I definitely have starting the whole hormone change and everything else. So what kind of skin care would you recommend as just something that I guess in a way kind of does it all for the middle age and up?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to ever just want to do one thing, Creme Nouveau in that age group makes a tremendous difference almost overnight.
Oh, okay. But same thing. Same magical stuff. Okay.
Same magical stuff in a jar. I mean, seriously, you know, and it's hard to believe that, but you know, our beauty culture is based on youth. Every visual you ever see is a young woman. So it's very hard once you hit a certain age to believe that you're beautiful. I mean, hopefully we all have enough confidence where we can see through that and it doesn't eat away at our self-confidence. But when you hit 50 years old and you've been looking at that for 40 years, because it's been going on that long and it hasn't stopped really until recently, it's hard to get past the, like, I need to, in order for me to be beautiful, I must try to look like I did when I was 20 or when I was 30 or when I was 40, you know? So it's first of all, shifting the mindset of like, hey, I'm here now and this is what I have to work with. And I'm no longer going to be looking for anti-aging creams. Like my concept is called preservaging. Let's just preserve where we are and what we have and respect and just enjoy it. Because if we're spending our energy worrying about it or self-shaming ourselves because we're aging, because we've stayed alive, like what? We got to stop doing that. So really it's about skincare that helps with hormonal changes. And that's why I do not do skin types of like oily, dry combination. Like those to me are just as dated as swimming in pantaloons. It doesn't help with anything and it doesn't mean anything because you might have had combination skin when you were 25, but like you probably don't have it anymore. And how do you treat combination skin when like this part's different than this part? That doesn't make any sense to me. So we don't have heart types and eye types and lung types. We don't have skin types. We have different times in our lives. So our skin types are blossoming when you're between like 18 and 25, 30 years old, blooming when you go from like 30 to 40, 45, in full bloom, 45 and beyond. And then we have two special categories called sensitized and suffering. And that's when something's really off. You're having a tremendous life experience that's stressing out your whole entire body, that's showing up on your skin, or you've even gone past that point and you're dealing with things like psoriasis or eczema or autoimmune situations in the skin. So for me, I'm all about being able to just have products available for everybody in those different categories of life. When I turned 40, everybody said, well, what are you doing for your birthday? And I was like, I'm making oil Nouveau. I need a super boost, but I don't want, not everybody's going to need a super boost, but this super boost has pomegranate seed oil in it, which is helpful for regulating hormones in the skin naturally. It's a natural phytoestrogen because we all understand we have hormonal changes systemically, but we also have hormonal changes in the skin. So to regulate those with an oil is so lovely. But a 20-year-old might not need that. And it doesn't really matter if you have oily or dry skin. You can use oil. So I'd say look at the skin type category brochure that we have. We have a free download of it. And, I use the word skin type just because it's easy to understand. We're sort of we pre-understand that concept. So look at the blooming, look at the in full bloom. Here's what you need for cleansing. Here's what you need for moisturizing. Here's what you need for a treatment. My concept of skincare is, hey, you pick what you need. You put it in your shower. You put it on your vanity. You never have to think about it again. You know what you use. You don't need to change it. You're not going to have to go look for something else because it's going to stop working. That's like saying I can't eat broccoli anymore because it's just not going to work for me anymore. Like, no, it's always going to work for you. Always. And, we also do a facial starter set if somebody wanted to try the 5 main products. If you want to just try everything together in small, petite sizes, dip your toe and not just have to try one thing, but all 5 things together, just your cleansing, your moisturizing. And I think, the expectation of what's our skin supposed to really do for us? And what are we really supposed to do with our skin? Wash it, moisturize it. That's it. That's it.
So easy.
Super simple.
Super simple.
And if you won't do it, don't buy it.
So you mentioned the free download. So we'll put that link below this video, whether it's on YouTube in the description or on the blog below it, so people can go get that. Because if it's like the brochure that I have, it shows you your age bracket. Yeah, exactly. And it tells you exactly what is recommended. And like Lacey said, there's lots of things you can do, but I highly recommend that if you're kind of new to this market of type of product, I still recommend try something, even if it's like you said, the little sample set or just one jar of something, because it really opened my eyes to what it means to have an all natural product. And I'm sold. Like, you can't find this stuff anywhere. I don't know of anything else that is like this. And so I would recommend that. People are really interested in really truly natural skincare and really are like the idea of self-care and trying something different. Get the download and look at it and then try something. Just one thing and just see how it goes. Because people who know me and have followed me for a long time should know I rarely promote a product. It is not something I do. And so for me to be such an advocate should say something this is a kind of a big deal. I feel like it's a really, really big deal. So I hope people get excited and try something off of your site because it's just beautiful products.
Thank you. That almost makes me cry because I've been trying to get this message out for a very long time. And I love to hear this, because it is true. There's a lot of natural brands out there right now, but they're not actually all that natural.
No.
And the ones that are very basic, the ingredients are very, very limited, and they're not so intentional with everything. And,
Right.
It is truly so wonderful to be recognized for that. And like for you to say this has been eye-opening, because it should just be so lovely. Taking care of ourselves should be a lovely experience, and we shouldn't have to question what we're using.
And we shouldn't have to excuse it away either. Is in like, it's really truly investing in yourself in a different kind of way. This year for me has been a real, like honestly, every year is a transitional year, it feels like, but this year in general, I decided to do several things for myself, not just for my business, but also for me, as far as saying yes to me more. And so in the spirit of self-care, self-love, and just doing things that really, really bring me joy. And so I talk to people all the time, like I have like a ridiculous amount of like art supplies because I'm an artist, and I used to constantly push it off because I didn't have time, or I'd say I didn't have time, or it's just, that's just money I could spend someplace else. And I wouldn't actually treat myself to the brushes and the watercolors and all that kind of stuff. And so this year I decided I'm saying yes to myself in any way that I can. So now it's just been amazing. And even my husband's just like, I'm so glad you're doing this, because he can see how much joy it brings me. So that kind of opened up the floodgates for me. And so I joined a health and wellness program to learn how to eat clean, how to manage and eat truly balanced without having to go to a restaurant or eat fast food, and to really kind of get just clean, like 6 small meals, water, and lean vegetables. Like I'm not a vegetarian, but sometimes I feel like I could be, because I've really taught myself how to take care of myself inside. And so when we met and we're talking all about all this, it was just felt like this is the next thing. This is the next thing for me to like do this all encompassing self-care, self-love transition that I'm in. So I might be a little crazy. Maybe it's how you felt when you were like really promoting your stuff, but like, there's something about really taking care of yourself that makes you just happier. I feel good about myself, and I want everyone to feel good about themselves,
Absolutely.
what I want for everyone. So, for your color style, I'm always talking about color because I think that's part of it. It's like, it makes you feel good to wear something that you love. And I think this is all kind of the same thing. So I will get off my soapbox now.
No, and I feel you. I love being on a soapbox. It's really fun when you're talking about these things. And I mean, think about it. When you feel good, it's so much easier to make somebody else feel good.
Yeah.
And then if that person feels good and then they go out and make somebody else feel good, I mean, it's a fantastic ripple. And if it just comes from slowing down for 1 second to put on a cream that you really love the experience of, like, okay. And one thing to just highlight quickly, when you're thinking about something like this, if you found skincare overwhelming, or, you've invested before and you were disappointed, I totally get that. And I am not a hard sell person. I mean, that is not my personality. I don't enjoy that on the receiving end. It's not my style. And I'm very much, please be very intentional with what you choose. If you know you're going to use it and you want to try it, go for it. If you're like, I don't know, think about it a little bit more. Maybe there's something that fits your needs better. I'm fully on board with that. And just really create your own lovely little experience. And there's so many products to choose from. So there's a way to just pick and choose your favorite little pieces. Because if you buy it and you just throw it in your drawer, you've just wasted your hard-earned money. And I respect how hard everybody works. And I just want it to be of incredible value. And all of our products are super concentrated so that you get the most value and that they last as long as possible. I don't want you to be going through these so that you can buy them again. Right. That is not my jam. So that's part of self-care too, being really selective and intentional on what you think is going to bring you joy, like you said.
I like that. They create your own little experience. That's a really great little soundbite. Create your own experience. Yeah. So Lacey, do you have any last words? People can, I'll put the link to the site because you said that you put the free download up on the site. Any last words for our audience before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, thank you so much for having me. This has been so great. I love this conversation. And, we had talked about clean beauty earlier and how it's kind of an ambiguous term. We have a very easy to understand, very straightforward definition of what we call clean. We are very transparent on all of our ingredients. We have an ingredients dictionary. Everything is linked on the main menu of the website. There's more information than you could ever absorb on that website. We do a weekly blog that's sometimes as personal as me telling you about how I dumped my whole grocery cart in the Trader Joe's parking lot because, oh my gosh, I got to really figure out how to self-care this week, all the way to information about our philanthropy that we're doing. So, it might be where'd this come from this week, but it's a very personal blog that I write and I send out every week. But yeah, so much information on the website, and we're always available if you have questions. We love to help choose products, answer questions, walk you through anything.
So one last word, you said philanthropy. What?
Oh, yes. So our Creme Nouveau, every jar of Creme Nouveau that's sold, we donate $10 from each jar to a women's shelter in San Diego called Becky's House that is affiliated with the YWCA. It's been in existence, I think, since 1908, and they do tremendous work with women and marginalized populations that are dealing with vulnerable situations, need housing, need protection from abusive situations. So we are thrilled to be able to support them on an ongoing basis. So
very nice.
Not only are you self-caring, you're caring for other women in a community that need our support.
That's beautiful. Lacey, thank you so much for spending the time talking, sharing all this amazing, the products and the information. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on your store and your products. And I just wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And one little quick thing, I just want everybody to know, every single recipe has been made in a kitchen like food. That's why they're so clean. We don't contract out to a manufacturer to develop our products or bulk batch anything or, buy a private label and just put a label on it. They're all been very much meticulously created with you in mind.
Awesome. All right. So I'll put the information, the links below this video. You guys check out her stuff and her products. And Lacey, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.